Good morning and hello to the most beautiful day on the homestead since probably 5 months ago, I would say. Everything's warm and it's the best news for my roof build. So you better believe that I'm going to jam as much as I can into these sunny days as possible with the build. I got the 14 posts up last week and that means that it's time for rafters and beams. Now keep in mind these rafters and beams are 8 meters and 6.5 meters long. So I did have a very well thought out plan about how I was going to get these rafters onto the roof by myself because they're 8 meters long and they're very heavy. However, once I got onto the roof and tried to put my plan into action, that's when I realized I was delusional. My plan was to put a beam across here and then balance the rafter from the first story angling up to the second story with rebar. So I welded rebar in place and I wanted to balance it on there. That was all fine. That worked out. This is where it got a bit delusional. Now, I thought I was going to be able to stand on a ladder on the edge here and lift up this massive 8-meter rafter while climbing up the ladder, pushing it up onto this second story and then lifting it from the ladder that's on the edge of the container onto these posts. Then climbing up onto the second story and welding it in place. I always somehow have in my head, yeah, that's going to be easy. As soon as I lifted it up, I realized the sheer weight of it and the angle of what I was trying to do and achieve, especially with the uneven ground of the container roof. I was like, look, this is way too dangerous. I very, very rarely ask for help. I don't like doing it at all. I do this build during the week as well, so it's really hard. People are working, I'm remote, it's hard to get here and to help. There was no way that I could get 8-meter rafters on a 5-degree angle onto 2 containers and into position while on a 3-meter ladder while holding the other end by myself. So I called up a family friend and for a carton, which is the going rate in Australia for any job, by the way, need a hand, call up a friend and give them a carton. Always works. Anyway, so for a carton, my friend came around and I had 2 extra hands. We were able to lift up the 8-meter rafters, all of them, which was so much easier than the pulley. And they were able to hold one end while I welded all the other ends. So it went so much faster. Now all the rafters are welded securely in place. They aren't completely welded, I just welded them enough to be safe. So with the rafters in place, this is how the roof build is currently looking. I can really see the roof start to take shape. Got all the beams up here too that will be going across my rafters. But that is where the overconfidence comes into play. I need to use my same plan that I had before to get 4 of them up there and then 4 of them across all the rafters here on the first story. Just have to see how it turns out. But before I can do any of that, I need to remove all the rust, treat and seal it all on the second story up here. Haven't been able to do this earlier because it has been raining non-stop for the whole of winter. I'm hoping now this is the perfect day just to get up there, get the headphones in and just get all that rust removed on the second story so that I can get my beams in place tomorrow. Basically, what I'm going to do is just start at this end and work my way down. I have removed a little bit of rust over here and treated it. So it's not the entire container, so I hope it doesn't take the whole day, fingers crossed. Wish me luck, the rust isn't too hard to remove. This is a friendly reminder to always slip, slop, slap. Unfortunately, I didn't have any at the homestead because I didn't trust the weatherman that it was going to be sunny. Thank goodness for masks, because I am like covered in rust from head to toe. I'm like just under halfway through, but I think this side had more rust on it, so I reckon about halfway. Sunny days means powering on, so I'm just gonna keep going until it's all off so I can treat it all in this beautiful sun. It'll dry and then I can seal it, and then that means beams can go on. Let's get this second side done. Oh no, we've hit a snag. Okay, so I was literally at the last corner. Been doing this for like 4 hours, 4.5 hours. It's pretty much done. And then I'm at the last corner where it has been the worst dented out of all the containers and water was sitting on there all winter. And I was removing the rust. And look what's happened. Oh boy, that means I need to fix it before I'm able to completely waterproof this section. It means more work as usual. Like I say, not one day where something doesn't go wrong. This is why you remove the rust. If I hadn't have done that, I would have never noticed, and that would have just kept eating away, and gradually I would have had a hole in the roof of my bedroom. The roof of my bathroom actually over here. Oh, it's always exciting at the homestead. What I need to do is fully remove all the rust from this area, and then it's basically a patch job, so you need to get another piece of metal, put it over the top, weld it all in place. Oh, the joys. It's all good. All part of the process. I'll repair it is basically measure it out, and then I can cut a piece of panel from the container walls that I've cut out, and then I can weld it onto the section that I think is weak, because even though there's only that small hole, I do believe that section all is quite weak, so I'd like to put a panel over the entire lot. Once the roof is on, this whole area will be covered, so I'm going to have timber boards around the whole outside edge to cover the area in, and the whole top of the roof will be waterproofed, which is what I'm moving on to now. So I'm going to stick with the plan, which is treating the roof now, and then I can go along and do the first coat of waterproofing. So that's the whole entire roof treated. Get the direct to metal paint prepped now, and I'll come up and spray the entire roof. Fortunately, one more thing has gone wrong today. I've just realized I don't have a roller brush with a long handle, which is what I need to do the top of this roof. So I'm gonna have to use this, so I better get to waterproofing. That's the way to do it. Oh my gosh, I didn't think I was going to finish by sundown then. I thought I'd finish way before it, but nope, of course not. Are you ready? Everything looks so different with a coat of paint, hey? It's looking pretty schmick. The only bit that's not done is that section that I have to patch up in the morning, and obviously this will need another coat and everything like that, but you ready? So tomorrow I'm gonna have to grab a roller so that I can do the second coat a bit faster because that took forever. But yeah, I think it's time to go crack a drink and call it a day. See you in the morning. Good morning. Are you ready for another big day? Today is the day that I'm going to put my overconfidence and newly gained muscles to the test and see if I can get the beams up onto the second story by myself. Let's not waste time. Let's get up onto the container. I'm starting on the first story today, and basically what I need to do is just finish welding. Securely tack welded the rafters in place, but they're not fully welded. I also need to cap them. That's what all these little steel pieces are for. So all the posts down here are secure and welded into place. I've got them all capped. That means I'm up to the tricky part of the day, and that's getting 4 of the beams up there. But you know what? Let's just go for it and see what happens. I'll do my best. Okay, first stage complete. Now I'm gonna get them up there. All right, what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna put this beam here as like my beam to rest the others up against so they don't slide out. So I've got that beam in place so that they don't slide out. Now I can try and get my other ones up. I did it! I can't believe I just did that. Whew. Of course it's bloody raining. 6.5 meters that is. 6.5 meters. Guns. Absolute guns. I don't know if I can do this, but I'm just gonna try pull it up from the top and see if I can get it up there. do beam number 2. Hurry up, 2 more to go. I'm puffed, but they're all up there. I've got all 4 beams up there, which means I can weld them in place, which I'm thrilled about. But there's a massive big dark cloud heading my way. So now that I've got the beams up here and the rain's all stopped as well, I can weld them into place. So basically I just have to get this one up and balance it along here and then weld it in. I've also got some clamps to help me as well, and I need to do that 4 times along here and join them in the middle. All in place, all that's left to do is weld it. It's gonna rain again, so I have to pause. The rain's gone, let's get this one all welded in place. Bloody rain's back again. Job's back on, I think. Well, I've just finished before I completely lose sunlight and it looks really good. I can really see the roof take shape now and it's gonna be amazing. Are you ready? I love it so much. So the next stage is working out how to get the beams on the rafters down there, because that's going to be its own thing. I'm exhausted, and after lifting those 6.5 meter beams today, I am so worn out. So I'm going to call it a night and go have an early one, I think. I have something to show you guys. I went on a little trip this week, Because I live so remotely, none of my materials can be delivered, which is very expensive. I've been using my tiny house trailer to transport stuff. Now, I did have someone in the area that had a four-wheel drive that was letting me borrow it when it needed to transport everything on the tiny house trailer. That person no longer has a four-wheel drive. That means I don't have a four-wheel drive to borrow either. What I've been having to do to pick up materials, it's very timely and very expensive, but basically I have to drive hours and hours up to a big city, go to a hire car shop, which is the closest one, and I have to hire a car. I have to drive all the way back, hours and hours, to get the tiny house trailer. And then all the materials, well, they're nowhere near here either. So I have to drive hours and hours again and go pick it all up on the tiny house trailer, hours and hours back to my place, and then hours and hours back to take the hire car back. So I very, 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 very much so need to invest in a better four-wheel drive than mine that has a better towing capacity, because, yeah, that is way too much to spend on materials every single time I need to pick something up. Getting past all the boring stuff, I got materials. Can't wait to show you. The first lot of materials I got is, this is what I picked up. So all this here is all the steel tubing for my top story deck. Also, you might remember I'm hoping to mill all the wood myself for the decking, which may be a bit of a worry because I'm terrified that this wood has been sitting there for too long, which is the wood I'm meant to be using for all the decking and all that kind of stuff. So I did seal it with log sealer, but that was like, God, a year ago. Let's just hope that that's all right to use for the decking still. But the load of materials that I picked up is the real exciting one. I went and picked up all the windows that are going into my house. I'm so excited. You're all in one trip, all the windows, not the doors, just the windows. But that's pretty big. So it's pretty exciting. So these are all secondhand windows, gorgeous old windows that are all being made out of Jarrah. They do need to be refurbished, but gosh, they're gorgeous. I'm so happy to get these, and I got them for such a good price too. On all fronts, it's pretty bloody exciting. I'm very lucky to have close ties in the glazing industry. So the windows will be staying on the trailer and going to get their glass changed out to double glazing for energy efficiency and to meet standards. But while they're here, I can get measurements so that I can start working out what size cutouts need to be made in the containers and how much steel angle I need to reinforce the cutouts. Even with the difficulty of getting materials, it's all still happening here on the homestead, and I can't wait for what's next. Stay smiling, and I'll see you next Sunday.